On the Pledge of Allegiance, sure.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I like it. It's like being back in high school.
Okay, roll call. Everybody's present and accounted for. New business. Let's start with the request for plaque installation. San Clemente.
Oh.
That's what I got.
Minutes, approval of minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Yeah, how did I miss that? Went right through. Okay, Nick's made a motion to, Mandy seconded it. All in favor? Aye.
I
Aye.
Okay, approved. Check. Okay, now we can go to the part. Oh, I missed that. Oh, that's why.
My question is Dave Cook happy with this? Does he like it?
He likes it.
He does.
Do you have something that you want to talk to us about
Well,
on that?
If I could just go through real briefly the background on
Please.
this whole thing.
Oh,
do.
yes, please.
Kurt, we'd love
He's
to hear
actually
about
got
it.
it
I
here
just-
in its hands.
Yeah.
We were talking
I
about
thought
it
I-
earlier,
I
and it's
brought it.
long overdue.
Yeah, so what happened, am I supposed to stand?
Yeah, because we need you on audio.
Yeah. There's a lot that's happened in the last 9 months towards this thing. I think everybody that's been to the golf course has seen the new clock. And that happened because a member of the men's club, Jeff Doden, was always a very big proponent of getting this clock. And unfortunately, Jeff had a illness and a heart attack and passed away very suddenly. Jeff was in his 50s. And the family, in lieu of any other type of donation, set up a GoFundMe for to get the clock. That's how much they and him wanted the clock. So they set up a GoFundMe for it and raised between $15,000 and $20,000 towards for the clock. And so, long story short, the men's club has always been trying to do it. We almost did it. Then COVID hit, and then the price of the clocks doubled, literally doubled in about 2 or 3 years. And so, with the funding from the GoFundMe and the men's club also kicked in quite a bit of money towards it. We've got the clock. So there's going to be the general meeting next Thursday. There's going to be a dedication of the clock. I think the mayor is going to be there, and on and on and on. And so we thought it would be appropriate. We always, have admired what the Cook family has done, and so the initial thing was to get some sort of dedication or plaque in honor of Alan Cook. And then it got carried a step farther, and we thought, well, Dave, Linda, the whole Cook family has been involved for decades at the golf course. So we came up with this plaque, and it reads, dedicated to Alan Cook and the entire Cook family, and then we put a little saying in there, the first family of golf in San Clemente, and then it reads December 2023, the San Clemente Men's Club Golf Club. So that's what it is. And through there, we talked about where we would want to put this plaque, and it's come to the conclusion that a really good place for it would be right, not as you walk in the front entrance of the pro shop, but the back entrance where the ramp is, by those doors. And we discussed it with Samantha, and Samantha thought it would be good, but she wanted the advisory committee to sign off on it as well. And so we still need to make sure that it's 100% good with the Cook family, that it goes there. We're assuming that's going to happen, and if and when it does, we're just looking for your approval to put it right by that door where everybody that walks into the pro shop can see it.
Well, I make a motion that we propose to put that plaque up
I'll
next to the
second,
door.
I'll second that one.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Kurt, what was the final cost on that clock,
18 grand,
Okay.
including
Beautiful.
installation and everything else.
Yeah.
I was afraid that the concrete pedestal was gonna be too high and that the clock was gonna be too high, but it really kind of fits in perfectly.
Yeah, it does.
Played yesterday, and you can see it from the first tee just as well as you can see it from the driving range. It came out really well, so,
It shows a lot of class. I think it's really neat.
well, that's great, great,
Yeah.
great. Okay, thank you.
Nice, Kurt.
Thank you.
Oh, we need a selection of committee member to the golf course master plan interview panel.
Yeah, so if I can give a little background on this,
Please.
we released an RFP to seek proposals from interested bidders who would like to be the lead consultant over our master plan update for the golf course. The scope of work included a complete overview of the operations, both on the pro shop side to the events and banquet center side, as well as an in-depth look at the course itself, from the greens to the driving range layout, to how the tee boxes are arranged. So a really in-depth analysis of the entire course from A to Z. We actually were very successful, got 6 bids back, which is a great, I think a really good number to look at. Our goal, I haven't looked through all of them, but staff typically narrows this down to the top 4 or so. And I think it would be great if we can have a member of the golf committee sit on the interview panel. This allows it will be myself, Jordan, and then Randy Little will be the 3 staff members that will sit on the panel. But we will have the chance to interact face-to-face with our top 3 consulting firms and to get the blessing from at least one committee member. And then we could potentially bring that back to the golf committee, but I don't want to tie up the process. I want to move pretty quickly. So one would be great if the committee would prefer to establish 2 members. That's the most we can do. But we'll do an interview probably in January, and so we'll work on calendaring. It will be during the day. Interviews are typically about 30 to 45 minutes. So we would work on scheduling based on whomever's selected.
I hope Gil Hans put in a bid. Nobody knows Gil Hans.
No, I've heard of it. Okay, so you're looking for volunteers.
We're nominees.
5 of us.
So, Rick, would you like to do it?
I would do it, yes. I don't know if I'd like it, but I would volunteer. Does anybody else want to go on there for having 2? Or?
I'll volunteer.
Well, you or Ben would be my 2
That
choices.
would be great.
We could do both of us. Rick, you know this course from the history. I'd obviously be
He was here when they
interested
built
on
this
the
course.
course design and that aspect of it too. So
So we got a couple volunteers, Ben and I.
That would be great. Yeah, we can have both of you sit on the panel, and so the whole committee. So you guys all know, you are major stakeholders as a committee body and advisory body. So any kind of town halls or public workshops, the expectation is that the committee is always invited. And certainly the committee will be one of the first bodies to see the actual finalized product or that first draft before it heads to council. And then the plan, before council adopts it, we would want a recommendation from the golf committee as a whole as well. We expect it to be about a 9 to 12 month process.
Where are the meetings held?
I'd like to do them at the golf course. I think that's the most appropriate
Like that.
space.
Saves me a
Again,
drive.
if we want to reach our users and our constituents of the golf course, I think the golf course is the best spot to do them. But we can work out those details.
Will that include looking at increasing the golf rates?
It could. That was something that we didn't include in the scope of work because we've been able to do that in-house. And I didn't want to, if we don't have all the money in the world to spend on this, I wanted to focus on what is more of that professional expertise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How often do you do a process like this?
Master plan should be done every 20 years, at the very latest. A good master plan is set for 10 years. You should have it all executed by year 15 and ready to go. With a new master plan rollout around year 15, between 15 and 20 years. So the last master plan update we did was when we built the clubhouse in the early 2000s. And it only looked at the clubhouse facility. Prior to that, the course was looked at as a whole, I think in 1989, somewhere around there. And it was looked at by William Bell's architect firm, the golf architect firm at the time.
Golf has changed a little bit since then.
It has, yes. So this is a much needed update. And the consulting firms were really excited when we met on site with them. I think they all saw the amazing potential of the course. So should be a fun process.
Do we anticipate making big changes to the course, or what's the objective of the process? I mean, is it just to do good governance, or is it?
Updating maybe.
It's both. The goal is to make sure that we're as efficient of a golf course that we can be, while also making sure that we're designating our funds to the right projects. This gives us a guiding light of how we should allocate funds over the next 10 years. If there's some bigger capital projects that we want to work on, we want to start mapping that out in our 6 to 10 year CIP program. So this is that really great gauge. It also allows us to look at, the operations side of it. Are we the most efficient operation from the banquet side or the pro shop side? We want to make sure we're constantly getting our best return, and that these consultants will be able to do that for us.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some modernization of the course too,
Mm-hmm.
for safety concerns as well as
Yes.
things like that.
More to come. But we have Ben and Rick will be on our interview. We'll be in touch then. Okay?
Don't put me down for the next 20, though.
Well, that's the commitment. You just committed to that.
Keep your heart.
That was a fine print.
98. First quarter golf course activity. I see we got some stats on that. Do you have anything else, Samantha?
No, that's all I have.
Where is it?
28,000 rounds. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Not bad for a quarter.
For this over 100.
Keeps going up.
Yeah, look at that. That's the highest we've
I
had.
wonder I can't get a tee time on Sunday.
Good revenues though.
Yeah.
It's good on the revenue.
Sunday, I've been having trouble Saturdays, and I got shut out the last, but we got two guys going for it, Dick and I, and
Yeah,
Jiminy,
yeah, we have two guys got big opportunities.
we got skunked last.
But then we get up on Sunday and there's like nobody around. It's so bizarre.
Samantha, can you remind me the number of member cards? That's the number of renewals for that quarter?
That's correct.
Okay. So we're actually up from last year.
So Jordan isn't here to report on the maintenance?
He's not. No, I don't see him.
But for right now, I mean,
Yeah,
we've been playing, this course is in excellent shape. And the greens,
Fast.
a little quick.
Yeah.
I can tell you that Randy and Jordan and I have worked on a proposal for kind of a CIP draft plan. We'd like to bring that to the committee in February so you guys can take a first look at it. This is obviously a little bit ahead of our master plan, but it's the things that staff see as the very obvious things that need to be funded. And we do want to start earmarking some funds within our budget, within our budget process, and that kicks off in February. So it's about $500,000 in requests over the next couple of years. It includes everything from general facility maintenance to trees and replacements and a routine tree trimming process. There's equipment in there. There's stuff for Jordan's crew. Tools, things like that. So it's a pretty comprehensive request, so we'll bring that to this committee in February.
How are our water pumps holding out?
They need to be replaced. That was a conversation within the master plan meeting that we want all of that to be looked at. They're dated,
Yeah,
living alone.
I figured it was about time.
Yeah.
Problems with them for a while.
The driving range net extension on the right side of the range, when we met with Jordan a month ago or more, no, about a month ago, he was working on getting that in the system. Do you know if that's gotten any farther along?
Yeah, I don't know that he's bid it out yet. I'd have to find out.
He said he had them.
If he's bid it out and it has to go through a formal bid process. I don't know what process he went through, but it's expected to be very expensive, maybe more expensive than what was originally anticipated,
Okay.
given the cost of labor and materials.
Yeah, he
today.
had indicated to us that he had quotes already. Now, whether that he got them,
Yeah, I think he needs to go through the formal
he said that
RFP
is it
process.
Legistar or something like that system?
Yeah, Planet Bids is probably what it needed to go through. And then because of the high value amount, council's gonna have to award a
Okay,
contract.
so we're not anywhere close to that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, just remember, quality will be remembered long after price is forgotten.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as it stays up in the wind.
Oh, okay. Else from Jordan. Ben and I went out on the course some time ago, and I'll let you kind of go over your notes.
Okay.
See them in there for the,
Yep, it was Halloween.
was it?
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone's had a chance to read through this yet. Obviously, there's quite a bit in here. So Rick, myself, and Jordan went out. As we've talked about, overall, the course is fantastic. I mean, lots of people keep telling me it's the best they've seen it in years, if not ever. So, yeah, we had obviously the wet that we had early in the year. This year helped a lot, and the grass is just really thriving and stuff like that. Everyone's talking about the greens, of course, as they're crazy firm and crazy fast. But I think that's great. I think it gives the course some character, and
does.
people are talking about it outside of St. Clemente. So
Protects the scores, and
Yeah.
they really putt true. You
Yeah.
just have to be mindful of the speed. you know.
Exactly.
Don't get yourself above the hole.
There always is a request to add a second hole in that putting green. If we can get Jordan to do that, I know he's resistant to it because he says it makes people use, but if we could just get another hole, because they get worn pretty good.
Even on that side, even on
Yeah,
the same.
exactly. He doesn't have to put it over by where everyone just quickly knocks 3 or 4 putts before going to the tee box. Another big thing was the tee boxes. So a while ago with Dick, a couple of years ago, we had decided to turn the tee boxes from Bermuda to Kikuya to let the Kikuya take over. It's continued to do that, and it's starting to look a lot better, I think, in some spots. Other spots, like the first tee box, they're obviously having a lot of problems with. It gets a ton of wear, and a couple of the par threes that are limited on space. But Jordan had mentioned that he has been talking to the superintendent of Newport Beach Country Club, who has done the exact same thing. So, that course is fantastic, and so if they're doing that sort of plan, that's obviously probably the right way to go. And they're about similar proximity to the ocean that we are, so they have that same Kikuya.
Overall, the wear seems to be a lot better.
Yeah, it seems a whole
I
lot
know
better than
one is
Bermuda.
always hard, but I
Yeah.
think if you look around the course, I think that
Yeah.
they're really holding up with that
Yeah.
grass.
They put new cups on all the 18 holes. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Flags are always a problem, though, because they keep getting stolen. They did put new flags in at one point, and they ended up in trees, and they ended up all over the place. Everyone's favorite topic, the trees. They lost 2 trees. The left one on hole 1. Actually, as of when we've done this, there was one on hole 10 on the right side that they had lost. And since then, I think I've seen them pull one off on 17 and 16, sort of in between those two there. New trees were planted. They're carrotwood trees, and they were placed on the left side of one. Then there's going to be, they're planning to put one in on the left side of one, farther up there where that old one was lost out. He's going to do carrotwood. Plan is to continue to plant new trees, particularly sycamores, as the other ones are removed. So we'll try to get that going. Dead pines are going to be removed. I guess that one did that was the dead pine on 17, got removed.
I think 3 of them got removed.
Yeah.
Last, since we did the tour.
And you notice a lot of the palm trees behind the green on 4 and the tee box on 5 and the green on 11, right along the road right there. Those were all trimmed down really tight, and it turned out those were done by SDG&E because there's power lines near there. And remember we mentioned that
Well, good for
they did.
something.
So they did that, even though they're on there. So that's why those ones look real nice and cleaned up. Bunkers continue probably to be the biggest problem on the golf course. They're real clumpy, kind of muddy at times, they're thick. The sand is just compacting and sinking to the bottom. The mud is coming up to the top. They don't have proper bunker rakes on the machines to chew them up and stuff like that. The bunkers really need to be redone. That will be obviously part of the master plan. And getting the lining properly done on those so that the sand won't disappear out the bottom and we get the thicker, heavier stuff that comes up to the top.
At the last meeting, Jordan mentioned they were testing a machine
Yeah.
that helped to bring all the sand.
Yeah, the new
up.
bunker rake. Yeah, and they tested it, liked it, but it just, he seemed to indicate that it wasn't in the budget. I think I wrote that in here somewhere.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure if that was if that was a rig. That sounded concerning.
Bunker
But
rake
it sounds like
is-
that is a
it's-
big
it's
piece
a
of
big
machinery
exactly.
behind. Yeah.
So what they actually use is, which I didn't realize this until this meeting, is it's one that's made for baseball fields.
Yeah. And those don't work well on baseball
And that
fields
doesn't,
either, by the way.
yeah, and that just brushes the surface, right? It doesn't
Yes.
get underneath and churn up what they need. So that really needs to be something they need to get something going there because I think, and also he says it's pointless to just dump more sand in there because within time it just disappears like underneath again, and that thicker stuff just comes to the surface. So definitely something that we need to be part of the master plan is that bunkers. Individual hole notes. I don't know if we need to go into all of these to go through it, but hole 15, they got that drain pipe fixed on the tee box there, and they kind of put it back together, so hopefully that's good.
That's coming along real good.
Yeah.
It's growing and you can actually use it.
Yeah, it looks a lot better. I was worried it was going to take a long time to come
Yeah, I
back,
did
but it
too.
seems to
I
seems to
thought
do
it was
pretty
gonna
good.
take forever.
Yeah. 16, the native area to the right of the blue tee box. There was, at the time we talked about we needed to do something about it. Since then, this last week, they have cleared it completely out. They've put a liner on there. They've dropped in a whole bunch of wood chips and mulch on top of it, put some stones in there, and it cleaned it up quite a bit. So I haven't seen the finished product yet, but that was something we had talked about, and it's nice that they did that. There was talk about actually putting the tee box back over there, but I think it was decided for the risk of the homes that we would continue to mitigate that by having it all to the left. And then upcoming projects, that was one thing that we asked Jordan quite a bit about. What do you got going? What's your next stuff for the winter? A new forward tee box on hole 6. Unfortunately, they only seem to do those every 6 months. They give you maybe 12 months. You get one a year. So don't worry, we're only 14 years away. Continue the irrigation system software upgrades. I guess that's quite an effort to do that. The drainage in front of the green, especially on the right side of number 8, it gets really soggy in there. They're trying to add some stuff in there. And then the driving range net extension. When we talked to Jordan, it sounded like we were a lot farther along, at least Rick, that was the impression he gave me,
Yeah.
than still going out for bids. I thought he was ready to almost, award it or make a recommendation to the city council, but maybe I misunderstood that. And then I'll do the staffing. There's 10 full-time employees, which is great, so pretty much all full except for one position, which is being filled by a temporary employee. At the time, he was interviewing to replace the temporary person, but he did have concerns that over the winter, people tend to take breaks. It's when the course is a little bit quieter, so the team may be
That's
down one or two at a time.
Really the best
Yeah.
staffing he's had in a long time.
Oh, it's as long as I can remember, yeah, to have all those positions full, pretty much. Equipment-wise, no new equipment was received this quarter, no new equipment was on order. However, there's always desires for equipment, a full rough mower, not just, they did get a new pull-along one that's been working pretty good, but they want like a full special rough mower. The trim mower for the edges and any of the fine mowing around the bunkers and the edges of the greens and stuff like that. And then the bunker rake that we talked about would be great because what they're using is not great. And finally, this one was pretty cool. Jordan, and he's not here to take credit for this, he was awarded the 2023 Public Golf Course Superintendent of the Year Award for Southern California.
Fantastic.
He was
Deserved.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
his work is really showing up outside of just San Clemente, So I guess he may have probably already was awarded this at the annual joint meeting
Yeah, it was gonna be
in
during
November
the
first week in
at
November.
Monarch or
Yeah.
something like that. So kudos to Jordan for doing that and getting the credit he deserves. And his team deserves credit too, because I mean, they've really all,
Yeah.
you see them all out there working well.
We have a handful of staff that he had.
Any questions on what we?
No, but I'd like to compliment you on the excellent transcription of the notes you were taking.
Yeah,
Things of that.
Well,
That's
I was just lucky that I could read what I wrote. So,
You did a great job on that.
thank you. You obviously didn't read it last time.
Anything on the House Committee, Nick, Mandy?
No, but Kurt and I we had a meeting with, was it Molly? Who's the other
Always
guy?
the manager.
Who's the other guy?
Oh, Kurt, I think.
They told us that coming beginning soon, they'll be having an expanded menu,
Is that Tyler? He's their chef.
breakfast, kind of an expanded menu for breakfast. Was that what he said?
Yeah, well, they're gonna have some, like, weekly specials.
Yeah.
And, they're gonna post when you walk in what events are happening during the week so that people are aware on Thursday there's a wedding or Wednesday there's a party or whatever it is, so that people will know ahead of time, you know, if the whole facility is closed up for a private event, and you can plan accordingly.
When did you meet with him?
We talked to him last week, and we talked to Molly today.
Is
We're
there
setting up our annual meeting.
Right.
any other scuttlebutt on the proposal of having a dinner once or twice a week or something for, you know, open to the public type of thing? Remember when the regional director was in here pitching it?
Yes.
No, they didn't say anything about that.
Well, what has changed is they do have breakfast every day. There is a chef
That's
there.
good.
They have a menu for breakfast. And they do have lunch, and they have a chef at lunch, so that has changed. It's much better.
Good to
That's
hear.
what I've seen so far. And the food's been okay.
Sure.
What about the community events that we talked about? Has there been any movement on that, Samantha, you know?
Yeah, I have to get some funding for that. I'll write it into the recreation budget for next year. And then I'd like to do like almost a summer series or something at the course for families, maybe on like a Wednesday or Thursday night. We're doing some stuff at the beach club with the pool, so I think it'd be really cool to do kind of a spend this night at the pool and then come to the golf course on this night through the summer.
Could we kind of join it up with like the junior golf lessons that they do?
Yeah, something like that would be great. But I think summer's a good season to start
The parents
that.
are gonna be there anyway.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's a good time to start that during the summer.
Okay.
See how it goes.
Checking.
Good. Anything from the finance subcommittee?
We did not meet.
We did not meet, unfortunately, so that will be on our agenda for next time.
Yeah.
Though, to be honest, we haven't had a lot, there's a lot, this subcommittee was put together because there were a lot of questions at the time around some of the financials of the golf course and understanding some of that. And I think we did get a lot of great information from those meetings. Now, it probably wouldn't hurt to just review it again.
I think it would be great, especially when we start getting into the conversation of rates, right? Because I think there's a philosophy that's enterprise zone, you want enough money for Jordan to be able to run the course the way it should be run. But there's also the issue that, compared to Short Cliffs and San Juan Hills, the volume of people coming for the good rate is making it very difficult to get a tee time to, right?
Yeah.
So it's a hard question.
It's
but I think-
hurting the residents' access a little bit.
Yeah, if you I usually go as a single, so I end up with all sorts of different people. Most of them are from out of town, coming down from Costa Mesa, coming from other places. Like, this is a great deal. All the other courses that used to play got very expensive. So,
Well, of course, they're just coming down and hoping to get on. They're not getting a tea time because the tee times are long gone
That's
before
true,
they
that's
get a
true.
tee time. They're just walking on.
See,
Yeah.
that's the problem I was getting at. The tee times are all blocked, but then you get to the golf course and it just expands in between groups. I mean, we could go there on some Sundays and half the parking lot is empty. It's like, where are they?
Well, who's booking all the tee times then? And if they're not coming, then
Yeah,
they
so
should
is
be
that
getting
right?
charged.
Yeah, I was about
Are
to
there any
say,
repercussions for that?
you're supposed to be getting charged on the credit
Yeah,
card
they
on
should
file
be-
if you're a no-show.
You're a no-show, so.
And
You're
it did
seeing
notice-
that on Sunday mostly? A lot on Sunday?
Well, Sunday's the hardest.
I think it's, and I think they end up getting filled because
But there's a
always,
walk-ons.
there's a walk-ons.
Well,
So
the
it's
issue
not,
is-
it's not great for if you want to
Well, if you're
plan
trying
a
to
play.
get, if you're trying to get a tee
That's
time
right.
and someone's taken it, and then,
Yes.
you know, you don't.
They should be charged if they don't cancel
Yeah.
within the cancellation time, so they should be charged no matter what. And then if somebody then comes and walks on and takes that tea time, well, now we just
Double
make that as well.
Double up.
Yeah,
They have changed it so you can no longer cancel a tee time online less than 24 hours in advance.
Right.
You have to call into the shop now, which, yeah, I'm not sure if that was something you guys put in place or if that just sort of happened automatically.
it's definitely within the software, they might have
Yeah.
put that in as a new feature.
Well, new software is a pain in the butt.
We don't always get updated on the enhancements that they do.
Well, it seems like if,
We can call it that.
so is that 4UP that you're doing that through? Are they making those policy changes without conferring with you? That seems.
No, so the system was set originally to say, you know, we don't, they have to cancel within 24 hours or they get charged. They
Okay.
might have a new feature that now doesn't allow you to cancel it online without calling in. It's usually just a check of the box, but if they don't tell us they've done that enhancement,
Yeah.
it's kind of an automatic.
Nobody
thing.
knew, and all of a sudden, nobody could cancel tee times. I personally was, had one the next day and had to cancel it the evening before and couldn't do it. So, yeah, you have to
Yeah.
call up. So the guys in the shop aren't
You
really
could
stoked
sell it
about
via
that.
scalper.
Could.
Are we going to have a discussion on rates, or are we?
Yeah, that's in the work plan again, so if I don't get it to the committee in February, because I do want the House subcommittee to look at it, then it would come, we can always hold a meeting in March to bring it up to speed. I think fees are really important, and I don't want to delay that just based on you guys meeting 4 times a year, so.
I have a comment on the pace of play. Saturday, we teed off at 7:21, and we could not catch the group ahead of us until we waited on them on 13, and then we lost them again, and they finished a good hole ahead of us, and we played in 4 hours and 3 minutes, and we were a hole ahead of the group behind us. We just flew around there.
Yeah, but see, you're talking 7:30 in the morning.
Easily an hour's worth of
Play
games.
8:30, and it gets.
Well, I understand that, yeah, and it gets worse, sure, because all it takes is one group to
Yeah.
slow down the whole
Yeah.
thing, but what a delight.
Yeah, no, it would be.
Well, are we on what, 7 or 8 minute increments? I can't remember.
9.
Nine.
No, I think it's
It's
8.
I think it's 8. Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember. I know that makes a difference. That 1 minute is amazing how much it impacts things.
Until you hit-
So I would never go shorter than 8. As much as we want to get more tee times available, it slows it down anyways. So.
That was the old Tiger Woods days. What was it, 6? Was it 6 minutes back then?
Yeah, it was-
Middle 90s? So we're all on top of each other.
It was 6 or
6 hours.
7 at one point, yeah.
I mean, I know Torrey Pines does 10 minutes, and you get around Torrey Pines South, which is a gigantic golf course, in 4 hours and 10 minutes, because they do 10-minute increments. So.
I don't think it's the increments that is the problem, it's the players.
Numbers.
Grinders.
People up there.
It,
All right, items from committee members. Nick, I'll start with you.
I don't have anything.
All right. Yeah.
I'm going to bring up the thing I seem to bring up every time I notice it's in my notes from the last meeting too. Liability signs. I happened to have played Goat Hill Park down in Oceanside last week, and they had a couple of real nice big clear signs, especially on the holes where there is potential to hit it out of the course and into trouble, that makes it very clear that the golfer is responsible. It just kind of, you see it, it makes you think twice. I still feel like we're lacking some of those things on some of the holes. Hole number 1, great, when you start out, maybe one on like 5 by the tee box there, because that's, the holes that we have the most problems with. It wouldn't hurt to, I keep hearing that that's sort of potential, but then nothing seems to happen.
So you're basically talking about warning the golfers about their liability.
Correct.
I can
Yeah,
see that,
yeah.
but-
So, nothing about the outside people. I was trying to say for the
I'm more
the
concerned
golfers.
about putting signs, behind the no parking signs on Lawn 5 to warn the walkers.
Yeah, no, I don't know
Walking
if we can
down
do
there,
that, but
you know.
yeah, no, that's because that's public property down there. But on the
No, that's
golf
just a
course,
warning.
Yeah,
You know,
I would put on the golf course though that the golfers are responsible for their errant tee shots or something. I mean, sure, there's
There's a sign like that in the
Standard.
parking lot. I think that's the only one there is.
Okay.
It's on the fence that faces the 7 tee box. I think,
Okay.
Right there.
yeah, maybe.
Um,
It's like maybe we need
One
a couple
somewhere.
more, to just
Yeah.
make people think
So
twice.
we did have a risk assessment back in, I think it was May or June. And we do have that final report, and I met with our risk management staff and Randy and Jordan, and we reviewed that. Signage did come up. There's a need for a lot of signage, so we're doing what we can
Teaching dogs to read.
immediately.
Exactly.
But the want is to create a more cohesive sign program, so we're not just littering the course with
Oh, yeah, we
signs.
don't want that.
So what we're working on is kind of a sign standard, if you will, that lists all of the things that are important in a more uniform fashion, that this aesthetics with the course as well. You will start to see some signage about slopes and inclines as just warnings, whether that's coming down a hill in a cart or maybe it's wherever that looks like. So you'll start to see some of those start to pop up. We did some changes to the loading zone right in front of the clubhouse. You'll see that there's very prominent loading zone signs because we know that people were ignoring the green curb. We are starting to do some targeted enforcement there. And we're also looking at light curbing around the entire course, because that actually means that that's out of bounds, number one, but also you can't park there, you really shouldn't be walking there. So we're also looking at that effort as well.
That's it for me.
well, since Jordan isn't here, my deflection board on 17 is going to fall to deck.
You're
Go ahead.
You're still beating that horse?
Same one. I guess thinking about we're struggling a little bit to figure out a new finance committee how to operate it effectively,
Right.
And I think maybe just some guidance about, it would seem that of course it gets 100,000 rounds a year, should have enough money to buy a bunker rake. Right? I think like on the face. And
Maybe
so,
two.
just some, I guess what's the right cadence for us to look at that stuff, or the committee regularly get the finance update just to understand that. I know the financials have been distributed from time to time, but again, especially when we get into the rate discussions, it's obviously very sensitive. But I think really the objective of giving Jordan what he needs to put the best golf course together he can, for the value for the citizens or whatever. I think it would be good to get underneath that to understand the economics.
Why don't I get Debbie can schedule a meeting with the finance subcommittee for the three of us to meet
Yeah,
in
that'd be
January,
great.
just after the new year, and I can give you some updates on where we're at with the debt, the loan repayment, the debt pay down, those elements.
Yeah, great.
Anything from anybody else? Okay, let's adjourn. 5:38. Sorry to keep you guys over.
Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
Yeah. Give me a
I'll
motion.
motion.
Nick motions,
I'll second.
That's a-
then second.
What is this?
Aye. To adjourn.
Oh, to adjourn, aye,
We just can't walk out of it.
sorry.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.